Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where we tell it like it is, no sugarcoating, no excuses. Today we'll be exposing the chaos at our borders with this latest bust at OR Tambo International Airport. 30 illegal foreigners, Bangladeshis and Ethiopians caught trying to sneak in. But let's be real, this is no victory. It's a symptom of a much bigger disaster. Our government has turned South Africa into a free-for-all where criminals and illegals run wild while citizens suffer. We're under invasion and it's time to call it out. Let's get into it.
Authorities saying that they've disrupted a suspected human trafficking operation at that airport, intercepting 14 Ethiopian nationals and 16 Bangladeshis. The interceptions were carried out by the BMA's immigration and law enforcement teams and form part of intensified efforts, we're told, to combat human trafficking, irregular migration and transnational organized crime. Let's speak more about this with BMA Deputy Assistant Commissioner, that's Memo Mokhosi, who joins us now via our video link. Memo, it's lovely to see you. Thanks very much indeed for making time. We'll speak about the BMA's broader plan, given the fact that it seems that there are a whole lot more people who would take the kind of chance that we're seeing was attempted at OR Tambo International Airport. But help us understand how you, I suppose, caught wind of what might be taking place there.
Thank you. Good morning, Ayanda, and to the viewers. The BMA work on a risk-based and intelligence-driven strategy that assists us in terms of passenger profiling. So when you have 14 Ethiopians that are coming in an Ethiopian flight, it is our mandate to ensure that, we look at the travelers that are coming in. And the important thing is for us to just look at the documents. And as they were coming in, we were able to see that they are in transit. These are travelers that are in transit planning to travel to our neighboring states. But what was surprising is that the Ethiopians were coming back into the country again. So you'd wonder, why would travelers transit from South Africa to come back in South Africa again? And when we conducted our investigations, we realized that these are not necessarily travelers, and this is a suspicion of human trafficking syndicate, and we're able to intercept them. Now, they were handed over to our law enforcement, the South African Police Service, so that they are further processed. And in this regard, we need to ensure that they're deported back to the point of origin.
Are you treating these individuals as victims or suspected criminals, given the circumstances, it seems, under which they were brought into the country?
Ayanda, it is both. We are looking at all aspects. I mean, the investigations are still ongoing now to look at whether there was consent in them traveling in the country. We have 5 males that were in the first group of the Ethiopians, and we have 9 females. So, and in terms of investigations, we are now determining what was happening. But in the meantime, we need to process them, take their fingerprints, and ensure that once everything is concluded, they must be sent back to the place of origin. And you must know that the airline that brought them here, which is Ethiopian Airline, is responsible for transporting them back. But we are not only allowing that, we are fining that airline 15,000 per traveler. This is together with the Bangladeshis, the 16 Bangladeshis that arrived here with fraudulent visas. So they will all be deported once all the processes have been concluded.
My next question, in some ways, for travelers to enter the country, they must have come from somewhere and using some mode of transport. This is not the first time we're hearing of, a suspected human trafficking ring taking place in the country. And I wonder to what extent what you've been able to find in this instance will help in your investigations for the other cases that are related to suspected human trafficking.
Yes, definitely. You are right there, Ayanda. This is now an eye-opener where we are now paying attention to all the group travelers that are coming in. We are also pleading with the airlines to say, can we just do due diligence in terms of checking the travelers' documents, because the Bangladeshis had fraudulent visas. So for them, for South Africa to determine the fraudulent documents here, when they have departed from a particular destination, it now puts fines to the airlines that transported them. And you'd remember that 15,000 per person who is found who needs to be deported. The airline must not only take them back, but they must pay the South African government that amount. So we are now looking at 15,000 times 30 of these travelers that were intercepted. So we need to now, work together with the airlines, but fortunately with the law enforcement authorities that are working with us at the airport, AXA as well, we are now, doing a lot of work that is assisting us. And we are aware that now this is a peak season. We are in the festive period, and there could be a lot of chance takers that would suspect that maybe we have laxed our security protocols. But this is not the case. And we are warning all travelers who think that they will try and attempt and, take advantage of our security systems. We are waiting. We have enhanced our deployments at the airports. Our officials have been supplemented. So we are on high alert for any irregular movement that is in our ports of entry.
Yeah, I suppose there'll be a lot of questions from ordinary travelers who would want to know what they should do if they suspect, that something is amiss insofar as their own travel plans. Let me rephrase that. If they suspect that there are other people who may be moved around during their travel, what should they do? And I'm asking this question, Meme, being very cautious, because I think there is a risk of profiling individuals incorrectly because they look a certain way and sound a certain way, and, thinking that they might be suspicious because of that.
Yes, you are right. The profiling of passengers is the role of BMA. But if other travelers are suspicious of movements that are unsettling or suspect that, there's activities that are happening within the ports of entry and they are observing, a pattern or something that is happening under their watch, we have our hotline that we have opened to the public. The number is 0801 229 but also on the BMA website, we are inviting the public to report suspicious activities and be able to inform us of anything that they see. And in this regard, our officials are all wearing the name tag. So we need information in terms of, is there any active official within that scene? What is the time of the activity? What is the date? Who is involved? Due to be able to see the names. So currently, what we are doing is just heightening our security protocols, doing adequate passenger profiling. But if there are travelers or citizens that see an unusual activity, they must inform the BMA through the channels that have been provided.
I know you've touched on this a short while ago, but I think it's worth asking the question explicitly, Beme, about how prepared you feel now that we're entering into the festive season, especially because AXA is currently giving their own media briefing at the moment, taking stock of the year gone by. When the BMA was established, there were real concerns about how much resources was actually being pumped into the authority itself. And I wonder whether those concerns have now finally been addressed.
The concerns are being addressed as we speak, Ayanda, and we are aware of the time period that we are in. So adequate preparation has happened in terms of movement patterns. Historically, we were able to determine that some ports of entries would experience excess movement. And in that regard, we have added resources on the ground. So we do a risk profiling analysis whereby we look at movement across all ports of entry. And based on historical experiences, we are able to do predetermination and add resources to where areas are required, like OR Tambo International Airport. This is one of our leading airports in terms of passenger movement. So this one cannot be left unattended. And you would remember during the press conference that the commissioner of the BMA did on this past Sunday, on the 7th, whereby partnerships were announced in terms of additional resources that are being sourced from other stakeholders. We have done a model with the Cape Town International Airport where we partnered with the Western Cape government as well as the city of Cape Town to add their resources to come and support access movement at the Cape Town. We are doing the same in Gauteng with the Gauteng government, and it's assisting us with some of their officials that have now been trained on immigration processes and have been deployed at the ports of entry, assisting the BMA with movement processing. And you will be seeing most of the interception because when you have now new officials in the environment, it always assists because they are extra vigilant, they are able to remember freshly in terms of what they were taught in what immigration laws they need to abide to, and we will be receiving more interceptions. So you'd remember also with this Bangladeshi interception is that they are foreign nationals as they are Bangladeshi nationals. They blended into a queue of South Africans, which is wrong. You're not supposed to do that. So that is why our law enforcement officials were able to pick up that no, there's something wrong here. But because they were carrying fraudulent visas, they wanted to be undetected and just move through a platform that would not, pay particular attention. So we are extra vigilant. We've added our resources. We're also supplementing with technology. Our body-worn cameras are working, our officials are wearing them, and we are able to now monitor from offsite as to the activities that are happening. So we are on high alert, all of us. Our back office, head office officials, they are also deployed at the ports of entry to ensure that we monitor movements. Not only officials, we have our K9 units, which are our sniffer dogs that are also assisting with any items that might be imported or exported into the country.
Sure. Meme Mokhosi, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. I don't think you need to hear it from me, but you certainly do have your work cut out for you over the next few weeks, and all the very best, given, of course, what is at stake.
First, the details of this mess. Just yesterday, the Border Management Authority intercepted these 30 people at OR Tambo as part of their so-called festive season crackdown on trafficking, fraud, and illegal immigration. 14 Ethiopians, 5 men, 9 women, and 16 Bangladeshi men, all flying in on Ethiopian Airlines. The Ethiopians got flagged before landing through passenger data checks, showing patterns tied to trafficking syndicates using South Africa as a transit hub to slip into neighboring countries or re-enter illegally. They were all detained on arrival. The Bangladeshis, on the other hand, they tried to game the system post-landing, heading for the South African citizens' lines to dodge checks. Officers spotted them via profiling, and inspections revealed fake visas and bogus stories, clear trafficking signs. Acting Commissioner Jane Tupana patted her team on the back for intel work, saying it blocks crime networks. This Ethiopian airline is now facing fines, and all 30 people are going to get deported. Sounds good on paper, right? Wrong. This is just the tip of the iceberg in a system that's failing us hard. Why do these people think entry is easy into this country? Well, our economy draws them in for jobs, even informal ones, or starting spaza shops as we know. And traffickers exploit that. They sell these people fake documents and promise them of smooth sailing, like using our airports as gateways. This bust shows the playbook. They use citizen lines at airports trying to blend in as South Africans. It's organized, and our porous borders make it work. This nonsense is too common. Massive irregular migration from Africa and Asia, millions of illegal foreigners just flooding in, and corruption in the BMA is rampant. And we all know that our government is allowing this nonsense to continue. They've made us a banana republic where foreigners and criminals do as they please. The BMA is literally a joke. Launched to fix borders, but crippled by 8,000 vacancies, billions short in funding. Our ports of entry are unguarded, they lack technology, and corruption thrives, from bribery to extortion, you name it. And the SANDF, which is also supposed to be protecting our borders, is being gutted by cuts. There are gaps everywhere, letting smugglers through, and our leaders don't take it seriously. The policies are flopping and the syndicates are winning. So great, we caught 30 illegal foreigners trying to slip in. But how many managed to get in while we were focused on these? Another 30, maybe 100, maybe 1,000? Who knows? These invaders make life a living hell for our citizens. They share our hospitals, schools, housing. They open spaza shops, undercut locals with counterfeit goods, expired stuff, and even bring drugs and weapons in. Who knows their true intention? And by the way, who suffers the most from all this madness? Not the elites in their mansions. It's us in the townships. Our communities are being flooded by these criminals. Economic pain, security fears, lost opportunities, all while these people keep coming in and our government does nothing about it. This illegality must end. No mercy for these people. No room for illegality and fraud. South Africa is for South Africans. Watch the video on your left to see Zimbabwe and Mozambique being exposed for smuggling weapons and drugs into South Africa. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Until next time.